Hello, I'm Nitin Dahad with the Times. I'm speaking to Thibaut Honegger, who's the CEO and founder of Netri in Lyon, in France. Thibaut, hello.
Hello, Jin.
How are you?
Very fine, and you?
Okay, so I'm here at CES Unveiled, and you have a interesting proposition. So tell us what you do, but I'm also curious about your background and why you decided to do this. So yeah, just tell us first of all what you're doing.
Okay. So Netri is a French-based company. We are 6 years old, and we want to try to help the pharmaceutical industry to make better drugs and in a faster way and a cost-effective way. The way that we do that, we actually develop some devices, as I show you here, that are named organochips, in which we place neurons that acts as a natural sensor to feel how a drug will respond in the human body. By doing so, we'll be able to anticipate the failure or success into a clinical trial.
Yeah, I mean that's quite interesting because you're actually growing stem cells here for a few weeks, and then you're measuring the reactions so that you map a chart of all the possible effects. And there's tell us a little bit about that.
So I'm super happy that you understand the core concept.
Yeah.
You're totally right. We actually use neurons and the natural sensors, so we grow them for up to 3 weeks, and after you can play by placing compounds only on the nerves ending parts, because those are the parts that are exposed directly to a compound that is placed into the human body. So we record those neurons and the electrical activity of neurons, and we place them into this machine that is just behind us, and we make those charts that compare the compounds that are onto the market, so success, or have failed into the market. And we use a machine learning system to make those charts, as you mentioned, and we can even incentivize the industry to say what kind of drugs you can place to go into the non-toxic part for food industry, for example.
Now, before we go into further about the business model and you know the markets that you're addressing, just tell us a bit about your background and why you did this.
So I'm an electrical engineering from background. I did my bioscience like 15 years ago. But actually, the core that drives me to make this company is 14 years ago, my grandpa died from multiple sclerosis. And when I was at MIT back in the day, I said, I need to do something about it. We need to have better disease modeling that actually can show the industry how can assess a chemical compound that can prevent this disease. So back in the days, I was to brain on chip, and after I got to CNRS in France, in Grenoble, and now I decided like 6 years ago to build Netri because to make actual products that can help the industry.
Okay, and so 6 years, what's the progress? You've got investors, you're making a profit maybe next year?
Yeah, so
there's 2026.
You know how it works. We had 4 years of hardcore R&D with my co-founder Florian, with the CTO, to make an actual industrial products. After those 4 years, we were able to test compounds. And then we went to the digital area of Netri. We need to make algorithm to make sense of what we do. Now we've been commercially available for 2 years. We make more than 57% of profit last year.
Wow.
Of increasing into our sales revenue.
Okay.
And this year we're going to be profitable. Okay. So we had investors, French-based investors, and also the BPI in France that helped us a lot. And this year we actually have these new labs, 300 square meters of labs in Lyon, where we test all those devices and screening devices into it.
Okay, now business model and customers. So tell me about the business model.
So initially we wanted to sell the device, but it was not very profitable. Now what we do is we sell data. And this is where we switched from device to data like a year ago and went to those pharmaceutical companies, and we provide them not only the device, but also all the algorithms that allow us to make sense of the data themselves. So we now sell licenses to those pharmaceutical companies that internalize all those devices into their own labs or externally to CROs. And they pay for the devices themselves, but also for IP and all the software that's been nurtured also by all the other companies that use the device.
And what's the scalability? So recurring revenue, I guess.
So recurring revenue, the more devices we sell, the more happier we have. But the scalability is to expand to new therapeutic areas and to make more complex model, but not simplistic model.
Okay, and so that takes us into what are the key sort of markets you've been successful with so far, and what are you targeting?
So I can't tell the customers' names, obviously.
Oh,
but
okay.
What the key indicator is that we have shown several of customers that we can anticipate failure of drugs that are publicly now available into different therapeutic areas. So that is where we actually have the connection with the industry. we have shown them that we can anticipate failure into certain type of clinical trials, much before they went into clinical trials.
But pharmaceutical is one, but I think you talked about food and cosmetics as two other areas.
You're totally right. So we are addressing pharmaceutical company into vaccine, pain vaccine, oncology, but also food tech industry. Basically, we need to address the toxicology effect or the neurotoxicology effect, something that you have that you put into your body, and this has been done into rodents, into that is not very ethical right now. And when you want to have a lot of different compounds at the same time, when you are developing crops for African or South America, you need to anticipate the neurotoxicology effect on infants, and this way we can pop in and makes a lot of tests to see that. The final market we address is dermatocosmetics, because we have models into psoriasis, eczema, and then we can objectivize the sensation of feeling of itching that induces human beings.
So what's next? What's the timeline for the growth of your company?
So this year we're going to reach profitability, and now after we want to internationally expand to the US and to the Asian market. So we are looking for partners to help us expand. We're also looking for partners that want to go into different therapeutic areas that will open access to the libraries, to the compound that have failed into clinical trial, to give us so that we can assess and make new therapeutics in the area indication.
Well, Thibaut, thank you very much.
Thank you very much for you.
Thank you.